What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome into episode 52, everybody. I am your host, SleezBall. Today's episode is going to be my quarterbacks, start 'em, sit 'em, every single matchup. I'm going to give you a green bar, a yellow bar, and a red bar. I will also show you my work from last week at the beginning of the stream so you can see the transparency of my calls. And I take 5 start-ems that are outside the top 10 quarterbacks that are ranked right now. And then I take 1 bold call for a sit-em that is a quarterback inside the top 10. And I'll show you my crazy call from last week and my call this week for a bold sit-em as well. Before we dive into it, guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up, smash that bell, turn that subscription on. All the support's been appreciated across Apple, Spotify, YouTube. All you guys are absolute goats. The support has been absolutely insane. I can't thank you guys enough. And let's dive into it here, guys. So here is my board, guys. In the top black box will be the away team. The bottom box will be the home team. We got Lily watching. The dog says hi. And first off, before we start into it, guys, remember I said I will show you my work from last week. And I'm going to go through this all in one here. So it's going to be one spitball all the way through. This is my last week tweet to show my transparency for start 'em, sit 'ems. So I stay outside the top 10 overall. So last week, all these quarterbacks were ranked outside the top 10. I missed on Stafford, hit on Kyler Murray, missed on Fields. I can't believe he didn't hit it. Missed on Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's had 2 rough games. He's outscored by kickers right now. It's really rough for Mahomes. He's got to bounce back here with Pacheco out. You should see more pass volume this week. But I'm not going to throw him on my tweet this week, though, either. Kirk Cousins was a hit late at the end of the game. And then I take a top 10 sit overall. So you see the star next to Baker Mayfield. This is like my crazy call of the week based on information that I, use. And Baker barely went over, man. So he hit it. I missed there. I said sit Trevor Lawrence, sit Caleb Williams, sit Brock Purdy, sit Aaron Rodgers. All those were hits. Now, moving on to this week, guys. Starting off the first game, Thursday night football tomorrow. We have the Patriots headed to the Jets here. You're going to get Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett is never going to be a start for me. I mean, unless you're really, really hurting in a super flex and you need to throw a, quarterback in there, that's about the only way I'd ever start this man. If you have an injury, that's about it. A-Rod's side, a lot of people are saying to sit A-Rod this week. I think this is the game where he's going to bounce back. He always performs under the bright lights. Prime time game here. Garrett Wilson will draw a little bit of Chris Gonzalez. Chris Gonzalez only played DK Metcalf last week at about a 30% rate. So he's not a traveling cornerback like people think. He's not going to chase you around like Patrick Surtain. This should be a big game for Garrett Wilson. This should be a big game for Breece Hall. And I'm kind of interested to see if we see a little, Braylon Allen, like, Breece Hall got, injured last week and kind of set out the game. They kind of mixed and matched. Braylon Allen was a waiver wire pickup for most. For me, he's more of a handcuff. So I want to see how it looks now that Breece is back 100% healthy for this game. And I'm going to take the Jets to mop up the Patriots here. I'm going to call 27-17 in this game. Moving down to the grunge game of the week. The New York Giants are headed to the Cleveland Browns, and the weather looks really bad in this game. And Danny Dimes is a tweet sit of mine. His projection is 13.84 points. I did not see that happening against this nasty defense. Last week, I did have Danny Dimes on a start-em QB. He had a great matchup versus the Commanders, and he beat his projection, and it was a good call there. Now, heading to the Deshaun Watson side. I'm going to say Deshaun Watson as a start in this game, although I think you're going to see more of a Foreman Ford, 50% share backfield ground and pound game here. But this does depend on the weather. So I don't have Deshaun Watson in my tweet or nothing like that for him as a major stardom. I have him as a stardom on the video here, but this will be tempered come game time because if the weather is as bad as it looks right now, I would say it's going to be a ground fest, and Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper, and Jerry Jeudy are not going to be like smash starts of mine, but decent flex plays. For the Giants side, man, Danny Dimes is done. You're going to be hearing Tommy DeVito chants by the end of week 3 here. I promise you after this game. And I'm going to take the Browns 30-13 in this game as a blowout. Heading down to the ugly QB battle, man. I mean, Malik Willis, Jordan Love is still out. He is fighting to play, though, guys. So if Jordan Love is in this game, you're going to start him. Although the Titans' defense is very good. But I'm going to put Will Levis in a yellow here, not as a stardom, not as a sit-em in a 1 QB league, as a super flex possible play here. He does have rushing upside. He's averaging 38 yards in the game, and he's had 2 brutal first matchups, right? So, I mean, this could be a Will Levis bounce back game here based on the fact that Malik Willis and, if you watch Green Bay last week, they ran the ball 52 times. That was against a very bad Colts defense. Now you have the Tennessee Titans defense, who is lights out. They're good in the secondary as well. That's why Malik Willis is not going to be a start for me at all if he's out there. But Jordan Love is a different breed. If Jordan Love is out there, I'm starting him. He's a QB1 all the time. Now, on the Will Levis thing, back to this. This could be the end of him quick here or his turnaround game. Because if you lose to Malik Willis and you are 0-3, you are going to hear, just like I said with Danny Dimes, you're going to start hearing the Mason Rudolph chants. And he hasn't looked good, man. He's thrown more picks than he has touchdowns this year. He hasn't even broke the 200 passing yard mark yet. And this should be a game because the opportunity should be there. The Packers should not be able to pound the run 50 times against the Titans defense. They should have more opportunities on offense. And Will Levis should win this game if Malik Willis is playing quarterback. And if he doesn't, man, it's going to be really, really bad in Tennessee. Here we go, guys. This is the breakout game for Caleb Williams right here. He is a smash start of mine this week, as well as DeAndre Swift, but we'll get to that and all the Bears receivers as well in my other videos today. I will get all the videos out today. I've tried to get them all out today. It's super hard to get them all done, but I will. And Caleb Williams now gets the Colts defense that was shredded week 1 for the number 1 wide receiver. They got absolutely torched last week on the ground by Green Bay. So, I mean, now you can pass, you can run on this team. The Colts defense is bottom of the barrel. They are right next to the Commanders. They are very, very bad. Caleb Williams has had 2 tough starts. He hasn't looked good in them. I mean, let's be honest. He's a rookie. It's his first 2 games. People hit the panic meter so quick. Like, this is like a buy low time for me now for Caleb Williams, especially since you're going to see right here in this game. Like, if you look at his projections are like 14 points, right? 14 points against the league worst defense. If you get Keenan Allen back out there healthy as well, I'm going to be like, why is Caleb Williams not starting in every single lineup this week? I mean, this is like one of my favorite plays. DFS, if I'm doing pick'ems, whatever it is, Caleb Williams is going to smash this week, guys. And if he doesn't right here, it's going to be ugly because like this is your matchup, and then you get the Rams and Carolina. These are all 3 smashed. The Bears should be 4-1 coming out of this. Like, this should be Caleb Williams' time. And if he doesn't do it here, I'm going to freak out, man. Now, remember I said I take a star. I take a bold top 10 sit-em of the week. Anthony Richardson right now is QB8 overall. This is my bold sit-em play of the week here. I do not like Anthony Richardson versus this Bears defense. This Bears defense has dominated every single person they played. Look at C.J. Stroud last week. He only had 14 points. And, you know, you still get that superhuman. Maybe he hits a bomb throw here. Maybe he runs. But I'm telling you right now, he's going to throw 2 picks against this defense. 100%. They're going to get after him. And even if Josh Downs is out there, I mean, this man passing the ball accuracy has looked terrible for Anthony Richardson. It's not even close. I mean, 9 completions week 1. It's just, I don't know if the year off of the injury hasn't caught up with him yet, and he's not like molded into the game or hasn't had enough game reps. But I'm starting to get very worried with how his passing looks this year already. The Texans are undefeated, and they're headed to the undefeated Vikings. Unbelievable. The Vikings beat the 49ers last week. C.J. Stroud is going to be an absolute smash start here for me. Brock Purdy just threw for 300-plus yards against this defense. They gave up 480 yards on offense. And I would say that the Texans' offense right now, with the injuries that the 49ers have, is at the same power the 49ers have. They are going to drop at least 450, 500 yards on this Vikings defense. But the Vikings played tough, man. So I'm going to put Sam Darnold also. Like, Sam Darnold's QB 10, guys. And he's 10th in passing yards as well. He's had a hell of a start to the season without Jordan Addison, without TJ Hawkinson. Justin Jefferson got banged up late. He has been impressive, man. I'm not going to say that he's a sit-em or a start-em because the Texans defense is nasty up front. They're going to get after him. But, I mean, he's someone you should be picking up off your waiver wire right now for sure, because once those weapons come back, man, Darnold may light this up. The red-hot 90-point in 2 games New Orleans Saints are hosting the Philadelphia Eagles in this game, and this is the game I'm going to be glued to on the week because I'm on the bandwagon, man. Derek Carr went to Fresno State. I live in Fresno. I'm a Niner fan. Went to Fresno State as well for a little bit in college, and now you get Derek Carr and Jalen Hurts in this game. This is a smash start on both sides. The Saints offense has been absolutely electric, and Derek Carr is QB2 overall, guys, and he hasn't even played 3 quarters of football. So imagine the points he really could have if the games were even close. I mean, they blew out the Saints 40-0 at halftime, and they blew out the Cowboys, and he didn't play down the stretch of the 4th quarter. So, I mean, you got to look at his numbers. Like, this man is number 1 in everything, and he hasn't even played the games. It's crazy. This game is going to be a lot closer. I believe. I thought the Cowboys game would be close too. So if the Saints blow out the Eagles, we're looking at like a Super Bowl MVP talk right here, right? I think this game will be closer. But for him, it's a must start every single week until it stops. I have him ranked as QB4 this week. This is a smash, absolute matchup. The Philadelphia secondary is very young. They are very susceptible to be beat by the pass. They are good up front. And heading to the Jalen Hurts side, I almost called it, man. I said Monday Night Football. He's in a rush for 100 yards. He almost did. You are seeing the new look now that A.J. Brown is out. He is going to use his legs more, and man, he looks healthier than last year, and he's going to beat his projection, I think, every single time now that the rushing has come in, and you're starting Jalen Hurts if you drafted him, let's be honest. The slugfest game, the Chargers are headed to Pittsburgh, and both these teams like to run the ball, man. So I'm going to put Justin Herbert as a sit-em this week. I have Justin Fields in the wrong spot. My fault, guys. Let me pull that down. Now, Justin Fields is one of my tweet starts here this week. He's in my 5 out of my, top 5 picks that I put as a smash start. Why do I like him as a smash start this week? Because I feel like they're going to open up the option run game here more with him. They haven't used it and utilized it as much as they can, but he's also looked good passing the ball. So, if you want to look at any of the things from last game, right? You'll look at his points. It will look low. He only had 11 fantasy points, right? But what happened in that game was 2 monster plays were called back where he dropped absolute dimes into Pickens, even with Surtain on him. And I put Surtain as one of the top 2 100% best corners in the league, and he was dropping dimes all over him. But the scary part is they only average like 21.5 pass attempts per game. But I think he will get it done on the ground. So if you look at like week 1, he had 14 attempts. Then week 2 against Denver, because the game was a little slower, he only had 8. I don't think you're going to have that chance here against the Chargers front, because they're going to get after him on the edge, and he's going to pop up into the pocket and start taking off more runs in this game. On the Justin Herbert side, this is ugly, guys. This is crazy that he's droppable. Like, you can drop Justin Herbert to your wire right now in a 12-man league, and he's not going to get picked up because they're only averaging 23 pass attempts a game, and he hasn't even passed for over 150 yards. I know he hit 2 touchdowns. That was against Carolina last week, guys. And he got banged up at the end of the game. Looks like he's good to go with the updates today as well. But this Steeler defense is disgusting, man. You can start this defense against any offense all year long. If they're on your waiver wire, they shouldn't be. Your league is a pancake league if it is. This defense is gross. Justin Herbert is in for a nightmare game here. Man, do we really have to talk about this game? Bo Nix, man. They shouldn't be throwing this guy out there. They should be doing what the Patriots are doing with Drake May. Let him sit back. Let him learn. He's getting absolutely demolished. And I said it all year. I don't want any Broncos on my fantasy football team. I don't even care if Javonte Williams beat his projection last week in garbage time. I'll get to that in my running back video. And the Bucks are for real, man. They just went into Detroit, smacked him in the mouth. Now they got to go to Tampa. Tampa is one of my favorite defense pickups. If you watched my waiver wire video earlier as well, you want every defense against Denver. This team is going nowhere. They're going possibly 0-17 with the way it looks, and it is not good for anything Broncos side. And Baker Mayfield is QB1, guys. This man is QB1 on the season. He's also 10th in passing yards. And Baker Mayfield should not be on your wires if he is. And he's now startable every single week, which is crazy to say. But what I'm afraid of here for Baker, and I know I have him as a start, but what I'm afraid of is if the Bucks get ahead here, you will see more of and if Baker doesn't get his touchdowns early, like he needs like 2 touchdowns in the first half, because if they're up 20 points, you're just going to see the Bucky Irvin show and the Rachaad White show. And I said Bucky first because Rachaad White has the growing injury. And if they get a big lead, they'll just save Rachaad White. That's what I would do if I was the coach. I'd be smart about it, but I'm going to keep Baker as a start, and Bo Nix is always going to be red for me all year long. Here we go. This is a game I'm interested in here, guys. The Panthers have now benched Bryce Young. They've seen enough. I had seen enough after week 1. I'm glad that, this is kind of like what I'm talking about with Bo Nix and Drake May here. They should just be letting Bryce Young learn behind a vet, because he does not look NFL ready. He can't read a defense. He's throwing balls in the dirt. He looks like a deer in the headlights. But interesting enough, here comes Andy Dalton. And I'm going to say, if you play in a super flex league right now, that Andy Dalton is startable. I think he's going to open up this Dave Canales offense. I think you're going to see Deontay Johnson get more involved in this game now, because he's already complaining and wanting to get a trade and get out of there. But here's what's interesting. So last week against Seattle, or last year, week 3 against Seattle. So Seattle, let's start here first. Seattle's defense through the first 4 weeks of the season last year in 2023 was the number 1 defense in fantasy football. The only game they played bad against was Andy Dalton in week 3, and the Seattle defense had 3 points, and Andy Dalton had 361 yards passing, 2 teeters, and 27 fantasy points. So I'm looking at this game like, yeah, that's why like a lot of comments on my defense video I put out, like, why aren't the Raiders there? Why aren't the Raiders there? Because I think Andy Dalton's going to make this offense look better, and I think it's going to look vastly improved. And I mean, if I'm super flexing, he's higher up on my QB list because he's about to let the red rifle loose, man. On the Gardner Minshew side, this is crazy. I don't have him as a start. I don't have him as a sit. He is second in the NFL in passing yards with 533 passing yards for the Raiders. Now you get the Carolina Panthers here. This should be more of a Zamir White game to me, in my opinion. Zamir White is one of my absolute smash start running backs this week. But, I mean, he's not finding the end zone. That's what's kind of bothersome here. So if you look at Gardner Minshew, right, 2 teeters, 2 ints. So his numbers are just always stuck in the middle at 12 points, right? And he's lost 2 fumbles. He has 4 turnovers, man. 2 fumbles, 2 picks. He's still the gunslinger Minshew Mania stash, but and this looks like a great matchup, you know, because Justin Herbert, who struggled, even put up 2 touchdowns, gets the Chargers early, but that's the thing. You have to score them early. And I feel like this is a 25-touch Zamir White game, and you're going to find out the Zeus you should be trading for right now. Oh, Tua, man. Takes the hit to the head, dives head first, gets a concussion. He's on IR for 4 weeks. And some people are even calling for like his retirement. I mean, I'm not going to make that statement. I'm going to say prayers up to him. But, man, 4 concussions in 2 years. And I love the head coach line that Mike McDaniels gave him of, you're the quarterback of your family, man. I mean, this is getting really bad for Tua. But I think he's going to be back sometime this season. And what if he gets another one, man? It's just going to be out of control. But Skylar Thompson steps in as the quarterback now. They did sign Tyler Huntley as well. He'll be on the practice squad or be called up here before the game as the backup quarterback too here. I don't like any of this. I know they have all the weapons in the world. Like what better backup quarterback could walk into a better situation here with Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane? I mean, everything is there, right? But you're at the 12th man. Mike McDonald's new defense in Seattle is lit in the secondary. They are amazing. They're flying around. I mean, look at the wide receivers for the Patriots last week. They shut down everyone. They shut down everyone in week 1 in the pass game. And I can't do it until I see it with Skylar Thompson. On the Geno Smith side here, I'm going to go with he's a start quarterback this week. He is actually quarterback 9 on the year. He's also quarterback 5 in passing yards as well. So, I mean, he's having a great start, 498 yards. And they just lit up the the Patriots last week. And Christian Gonzalez is supposed to be some lockdown corner, and Jay Season just burnt him to a crisp. So I'm going to go that he's a start, and Skylar Thompson's definitely not a start for me. Man, the game of the week is here, man. The Ravens are 0-2, and they are headed to the 1-1 Cowboys. And whoever loses this game, the panic meter is on full rocket takeoff, man. This should be a smash start for both quarterbacks. I mean, the Raiders just dropped 26 points on the Ravens. The Cowboys coming off a brutal game to the New Orleans Saints, but I said sit Dak Prescott last week as well, as I did week 1. Both those were hits. Now this is the game where you start Dak Prescott. Now the pressure is on. Now CeeDee Lamb is fully ramped up. Now you're going to see more Brandon Cooks. And look who broke out last week, man. Jalen Tolbert looked amazing with some of his electrifying catches up top over the defender, man on him. He looked very well. The breakout talk from camp is coming out with him as well. I think he will take over the wide receiver 2 spot here over Brandon Cooks since he's aging. But it's not like a crazy pickup or anything like that. On to the Lamar side here, he's feeding Zay, right? Zay's seen 10-plus targets in both games. Derrick Henry's starting to get rumbled a little bit last week because they had the lead. I'm afraid here about the run game if they fall behind. And the Ravens, I mean, they're just that hard team to predict weekly what's going to happen here. Lamar is still going to get his rushing yards. He's still a smash start every single time. But you saw more Mark Andrews involvement as well, which is why I was low on likely on the waiver wire. Even though I put him on my video, I was like, don't spend all your fab on him because Mark Andrews is still an elite tight end. But I think this could be a flying points game here. I would take the over, and I think I'm going to take the Ravens to save the 0-2 here and beat the Cowboys at home and put the Cowboy fans in a really, really bad situation at 1-2 here. The Matt Stafford-less Puka Nacua Cooper Cup offensive line missing is hosting the 49ers, who are also missing Christian McCaffrey, missing Deebo Samuel. So this is going to be a very interesting game to watch here because no matter how you look at it, this is a division rival game. The Rams always play the 49ers tough. And every time we go to SoFi, it's always a 3-point game here. So I'm going to put Brock Purdy here. Now that you have Debo out, they're going to lean on Mason a little more. He'll probably get 100-yard rushing. We know that, right? But I'm going to put Matt Stafford in red here, and it seems crazy, right? He's one of my sit-ems on my tweet. He's one of my top 5 that's a sit-em this week. And I just don't see it with Jordan Whittington, with Tutu Atwell, with Demarcus Robinson probably being the one. You might even see a little Tyler Johnson sprinkle, or Tyler Robinson or Tyler Johnson sprinkled in here. Tyler Johnson, I believe it is. And the 49ers defense is nasty. I know that Jefferson hit a 97-yard bomb on a broken defender play across the top. It's Justin Jefferson. He's the best in the league. But besides that, the Niner defense has been locked down. They balled out at game 1 against the Jets, absolutely locked down everything, absolutely locked down after the Justin Jefferson bomb. And Matt Stafford has no weapons here. And up front, Kyron Williams is probably going to get fed like a beast, but he's also going to be, a chance that they could get blown out, fall behind, and you'll see a full pass attack, and Stafford could be benched again like last week. So I don't trust Stafford as a start. I'm even willing to drop him to the waiver wire right now, which sounds crazy, and I'm going to take the 49ers 31-20 in this game. Smoking Joe Burrow and the Bengals are hosting the Commanders Monday Night Football. Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow are both smash starts this week. And if you tuned into my video last week, I took the Bengals in the points. I also took the Bengals to goddamn nearly beat the Chiefs, man. I thought they had them. But of course, the refs always help the Chiefs out no matter what. Now, the Commanders, for Jaden Daniels' side, his rushing upside is ridiculous. This guy's going to rush for 15 attempts a game every single time. For some reason, it's like the defense is, I'm not going to bash him yet because it's 2 games in. But him and Caleb Williams are both really, really struggling to read the defenses here. And if you're looking at it, I mean, you want to see his yards. He did throw for over 200 yards this game against the Giants, man. Week 1, he had Tampa. It was a leaky secondary as well, but they have been improved, and he rushed all over him, right? For 88 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. He rushed for 44 yards in game 2. It's probably his floor is like 40 yards rushing a game with how many attempts he has. And he's always going to be a starter just for the rushing upside. He needs to stop taking some crazy hits, though, and he needs to get Terry McLaurin involved in this game. I mean, God, Terry McLaurin, I was super high on coming out, and I'm starting to get really, really worried here. On the Bengals side, this is 30-plus points right here for Joe Burrow. The Commanders' defense is the league worst. They give up the most yards. They give up the most points. Even since last year, they haven't gotten any better. And you could even have T. Higgins out there, but I don't care. This is going to be Jamar Chase all the way. I have Jamar Chase as my wide receiver 1 this week. And people are like, oh, he hasn't done nothing yet. Just look at last year, man. The first 2 weeks of the season, a little slow start. What happened week 3? 44 points. He has the best matchup in football this week. And he's going to absolutely explode under the bright lights on Monday Night Football. And I'm taking the Bengals. I'm going to take them like 34-21 in this game. And the Commanders get some garbage time points at the end here. Sunday Night Football. Kirk Cousins, you like that, came back on Monday night against the Eagles with a game-winning drive at the end. And Patrick Mahomes. So we're going to start off with the Chiefs here. Patrick Mahomes is outscored right now in fantasy football by Brandon Aubrey and Kai Fairbairn, who are kickers, right? Patrick Mahomes need to wake up here. Now you have Isaiah Pacheco with a fibula injury out 5 to 7 weeks. And if you own Isaiah Pacheco right now, you should be figuring something out, because last year when Jalen Waddle had this injury, it took him 11 weeks, and he never looked the same all year. And Pacheco runs crazy. So I'm not even happy about Pacheco the rest of the way here. But this should open up Mahomes to start passing more. I know they got Kareem Hunt. I know you're going to see Carson Steele out there. None of that excites me like Pacheco, right? This should be more heavy Rashee Rice. Travis Kelce needs to stop being a celebrity and start playing some goddamn football here at some point. He's been an absolute ghost. Now, but he looks slow though, man. Like when I watch him, he doesn't look as fast out of his breaks. He doesn't look fast when he's turning. But when the play breaks down, then Mahomes can find him on the run. I hope it's Travis Kelce wake up time here, because the time is now, and I think Patrick Mahomes is going to absolutely explode the rest of the way here without Pacheco in the game. To the Falcons side, the Falcons defense has been absolutely lights out. Dude, no touchdowns. Like what? In the first 2 games, and they had great tough matchups too. So, but Kirk Cousins still for me. The matchup is tough. The Chiefs defense is good. He found a little rhythm late on Monday Night Football. He hit that pass across the middle. Great drop into Darnell Mooney on the drive before the game-winning drive. And I was like, all right, he's getting a little rhythm here. Then they get the ball at 58 seconds, and he starts cooking, right? Now Kirk looks like Kirk. I want to see a little consistency, though, because that game was inconsistent again, just like week 1. Like, he got hot at the end, but he was terrible at the beginning. Then week 1, he was hot in the beginning, he was terrible at the end. So I need to see a consistent game here for Kirk to put him on a stardom. I'm not putting him on a sit-em. I would still play him in Superflex because you might need to score points in this game. But what people aren't realizing is that Falcons secondary is the best in the league, man. And this defense is damn good, dude. So they're going to keep them in the game either way. And I'm going to take the Chiefs 27-21 in this game. All right, Jared Goffel. A little shout out to Disco right there. It's time for this guy to wake up. This is the game he wakes up, guys. Jared Goff is literally still like talked about like he's a bad quarterback when he was QB7 last year. And right now, he still has the 4th most passing yards in the NFL with 524, but he has no fantasy points to show for it, which is just bonkers. And people are like out on Goff, starting to drop him. Do not do that, man. The Arizona Cardinals defense is very susceptible. They were league worst coming in. Yes, they got the Rams when the Rams were absolutely decimated with injuries, and they blew them out, and the defense looked good. Now you get a different beast. Now you're going up against the number 1 offensive line. Amon-Ra St. Brown, a little banged up, looks like he's going to play. Jamison Williams looks out of his goddamn mind. I missed on him 100% all year. I did not think he would be consistent. I'm still kind of skeptical on him being consistent, but if he keeps up 10 targets a game, this guy's going to be an absolute fantasy stud and flexible play weekly. But here's what you have to look at. I mean, Goff threw for 300 yards last game, 55 attempts. 55 attempts. They should be running the ball here more. But he has 3 picks. 1 TD, 3 picks. And he's taking a lot of sacks with that good offensive line. So I don't know if he's not reading the defense, but I'm still not giving up on him. And Kyler, FaZe, Murray, and Marvin Maserati are here. They looked lights out in week 2. Kyler Murray, quarterback 4 on the year right now, didn't even play the second half of the game, so he could be even higher. He's only 7 points behind QB1. Kyler Murray was my main target at QB all year in fantasy football, and you're finding out why. And damn, he looks so electric and fast out there. It is just crazy. But in this game, I'm going to take the Lions to win 27-20. Last but not least, the 0-2 Jags are in a do-or-die game on Monday Night Football at Buffalo. And Trevor Lawrence is going to be a sit for me, man. The Buffalo defense has been absolutely lights out for the first 2 weeks. They even locked up Tyreek Hill and Waddle when Tua was healthy. And I would say slow him down, not lock him up. But you can't really lock up Tyreek Hill. But Trevor Lawrence hasn't done anything. He just played against Cleveland. He didn't do anything. He had 14 fantasy points again. He has not had anything like I thought he would have as a good season to start off here, as I got the hiccups. And I'm not starting him here. He's got 11 points and 14 points. He hasn't passed for over 221 yards yet. And here's the thing. He only has 1 touchdown. And that's just crazy. At 51 attempts for him. He's better than this, and I'm starting to really get nervous, but he's taken 7 sacks, guys. Von Miller is going to be coming. He looks like he's still there. He looks like he's still a factor. They're going to get after him all day on Monday Night Football. And man, I think that contract's going to start to bring up some heat here if they go 0-3, man. But here's the crazy. Well, I'm not done yet. I'll get to it at the end here. Josh Allen. You don't have to question this ever. If you drafted Josh Allen with the draft capital, you're starting him. Last week, he had 9 points because James Cook had a hat trick in the first half, and they ran away with the game, and Josh Allen didn't even need to play anymore, didn't even need to pass anymore. So this guy, there's zero question ever. He's always going to be green for me every single time. This man can backpack a team by himself. But the crazy call of the week, and I save it for the end, guys, is right here. The Jags, in a do-or-die game on Monday Night Football, they cannot go 0-3, are going to beat the Bills 27-24. Thanks for rocking with me on this beautiful Wednesday morning, everybody. We are 1 day away from Thursday Night Football 2. That is the end of episode 53. That is my start-sit quarterbacks for the week. Remember, I have the bold call of Anthony Richardson, who's a top 10 quarterback as a sit. I also gave you my game predictions for the games on this one. Coming up next, guys, well, before we dive into that, make sure you smash that heart. Make sure you turn that bell on. Hit that subscription button. Any comments, fantasy football you guys have at all, drop them in the comments. I will try to get to them all as fast as I can. And tomorrow, guys, I will be live 1 hour before the game, or like an hour and a half before the game. I'll be on a couple other shows before that. So I'm trying to get all my content out to you before tonight, so you can see all my stardom sit-ems, all my rankings, and I will have my bounce back players out tomorrow as well, so you can get all the content before the Thursday kickoff. That is my goal of the season, and I can't thank you guys enough for all the support across all the platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Apple. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I'll catch you guys in the next video, man. SleezBall out.